Hello everyone, it's Amy with Paper Moon Journals, and we're just going to get right into it today, making this zigzag folio, mostly just because I needed a name for it. I have a little PDF for this, which you can get a screenshot of. I'll have the measurements pop up on the screen as we go along, and then I'll probably also have a affordable PDF in my Etsy shop. If you don't want to bother writing it down, you just want to buy it and print it out, I'll try to have that available in there. The first thing we want to do is to cut our paper into, or 12 by 12, into two 6-inch pieces. And then we take one of those pieces and start scoring it, as I'm showing here. The first score mark I made was at 1 3/4, at 2 inches, at 6 1/2, 6 3/4, and 11 1/4. And what this does is it leaves us gusset, and that excess at the end, we just fold into a pocket, or fold to hide the magnets. That's going to be our closure for this project. And on the second 6 by 12 piece, we scored at 1/2 inch, 4 1/2 inches, and 8 1/2. Optional, you may want to have a tab punch or have a tab available and attach that to this second piece. It's called B in the instructions. After we have everything scored, you could of course use a ruler, make marks, and then use a back of a knife or the edge of your scissor handle to score them, as well as reinforcing our marks here, like I am with my bone folder that came with my scoring tool. And that's the zigzag part of our zigzag folio. And here is the base part. Let's work in those folds with whatever tool you have available. I've used a highlighter pen, in the back of my scissors. The things I haven't used is probably shorter than the things I have used for a bone folder. And then this last little piece here, that's where we're going to hide the magnets for the magnet closure. So we'll put some under there and then some on the flap. Alright, I've got my magnets here that I picked up from Amazon. And when I get more than one packet, I just keep adding them to that same little container. They don't always come in a plastic container. I just put a dotted glue where I'm going to put each one of the magnets. And then glue the flap down over the top of them. And burnish that down well. You want those magnets to be nice and trapped underneath that flap of paper. And once we've done that, then we'll take 2 more magnets and we'll let themselves attach to the ones that are already inside our cover, so that the positive and negative sides are appropriate to attract them to each other and not repel them away. We just let them attach themselves. And I think, oh, I need the magnets on the other side. So now I add a dot to the magnet and then fold the flap over the way I want it to close, pressing down so that the glue dot on the magnet leaves a mark on the inside where we want the magnet to go. Every once in a while the magnet will actually stick to the glue, but usually I just use the circle it left to mark the spot to where to put the magnet. And then cover that with some double-sided tape, ideally, or it will just rip right off because I didn't let the glue dry. So since I like to keep going, I'll cover this with some double-sided tape, and then I'll be able to keep going. I'll just remove this when I'm ready to cover that piece, and it will help adhere everything down, in addition to keeping it from ripping off while I'm working. You could probably just use some clear tape as well. There it is, our base. Wasn't that easy? I like to call everything easy though, so I've been doing it too long. And maybe things seem easy to me that maybe aren't as easy for others. So let's take our 1/2 inch flap and make sure we don't have that over the crease for the base cover and attach that in. And this is almost it. Like, the base part is done. There's decorating, there's adding pockets and things like that, but this is the base. There'll be a flap up and a flap down as well. I guess it's not quite done, but I mean, I get excited and I'm like, look how done it is already. It's only 5 minutes in. Right, so the next step is to make the flap up and flap down. And to do that, we want 2 pieces that are 4 by 6 1/4, and we score both of them, or each of them, 1/2 inch across the short side of the paper with the long side up. Now that we have our flaps prepared, let's get our pockets ready. We need 1 piece that's 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. We'll score that 1/2 inch on 3 sides, and this will go on the front cover. So we'll score on 2 long sides and 1 short side, 1/2 inch. And then we need 2 pieces that are 6 1/2 by 3 inches that we will also score on 3 sides, 1/2 inch, and use those as well. I don't like to have to keep track of the pieces or label them, so I like to work as I go, just like we're doing here. So we attach the front pocket, then I don't have to lose it or maybe accidentally use it as a scrap, which has happened. Not so much to scored things, but I'll have a piece perfectly cut to size, forget that's the piece for something, and then cut into it to make a scrap for something else. So I just held it up to make sure that it was going to fit the project. We want it far over to the left, not over the fold line, so that the flap has room to flap shut. And then our flap up and down go in this second section. It's the center back of our base. And one is, this is a flap, what I would call a flap down. A little zigzag popped into the way. And then if we add another score line to this one, we can make this go over the top of the zigzag. So I'm just taking myself maybe 1/4 inch away from my score line and adding another score line with my ruler. So if I didn't have a scoring tool like I do, I would be doing it this way. There we go. So now I have a little 1/4 inch gusset, and I have room for this flap to go over the top of the zigzag fold. If you don't add the second gusset, then the flap up and flap down just both go on the bottom underneath the zigzag. But on the spur of the moment, I thought it would be fun to add the flap over the top. And if I just add a tab to the bottom, it won't look too short. I'm using art glitter glue in my glue dispenser here. I recommend it because it sticks so quickly and instantly. Gives you a second to move it and work with it, and then it's stuck for good. You're ready to move on. I haven't used school glue in a long time, but it seemed like you use a lot of glue. It gets very wet and ripples the paper, and then you have to wait forever for it to dry before the thing's actually stuck on there. And you can see I can work with it already. And it's not going to just fall off or get pulled off while I'm moving it around. It's already stuck down. So there we go. Now we just add the last 2 pockets, then we're ready to decorate. I know I use digital papers to decorate this. I have 2 different samples of digital papers. At the end, there's the one that we make here, and then, what was it? On Manila, or no, this one we make here on Craft, and then I worried that with orange and black, and then on a black background I made a pink and black one that we'll get to look at the end. So you can see how you can take different papers and the same instructions and come out with something pretty different looking. Although both are Halloween, One I included with a Halloween junk journal gift set, and the other one I kept as a sample. So when I want to make the project again, I can refer back to one that's already made to see what I did. So I don't have to watch my video. I feel like since I created it, I shouldn't have to watch my own video to remember how to make it. So the instructions and looking at one hopefully would be enough. Here's our 2 pockets for inside. I like to put one here inside the cover. Where's my glue? You could also use double-sided tape for this. We'll use, I was looking for a bone folder. I'm using my scissor handles now. I probably put it in the scoring board because that bone folder was the one that goes with the scoring board, and I like to keep them together. Here we go. It is a little bit easier to use the scoring tool than your scissors, I'll admit. And then this other pocket I want to put on the flap up. We'll make it a left-facing pocket. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking maybe I messed this up. That there's supposed to be a left-facing pocket on the top and a right-facing pocket on the bottom. So I think when I was filming the video, I forgot what I was doing. And I suspect in a second here, I'm going to rip that pocket up and move it. I filmed this some time ago, and I had some collaborations and other obligations, and the footage just had to sit and wait until now. At least 3 weeks later, when I finally have time to do the voiceover and explain what I was doing here. I don't even bother trying to record what I'm doing anymore with that my weird microphone issues with my phone. Just during recording though, not during voiceovers or anything like that. Very strange. All right, I think we're ready to decorate. So the first thing is I'll want to decorate the inside and outside of the cover. We'll need 4 pieces that are 4 inches by 5 3/4. Oh, here I am, realizing my mistake, showing you what I've done to rip that up and move it. Yeah, when I went to decorate it, I probably noticed that I had made a mistake. So these pieces here are 4 by 5 3/4. I'll get these glued in here. I hope you're all having a nice day. Thank you so much for watching. You're still with me here at about the halfway point. That's great. I would love it if you would leave, like, say, a banana emoji, so I know that you made it to halfway through. I just like to know who, because it'll show me the percentage of people who are making it, but I'd like to know, because I interact with a lot of people on social media and stuff. I think it'd just be fun to know who makes it through. You made it halfway through the video, leave me a little banana emoji in the comments so I can thank you for watching my video, and then I'll know that you made it. And I'll have some other emoji for at the end. You made it to the end. Maybe you didn't want to see the decoration instructions because you didn't really care. You just scrolled from here back to the end. It's been interesting. I usually avoid looking at that, at the statistic kind of stuff, information on my videos, because it can be really depressing and disheartening. But I just thought, well, I can see when people are skipping forward, because it'll go from, say, 25% watching to 10% and then back up to 25%. So people are kind of skipping the same parts. It helps me to see what parts look boring for people, like probably this part right here. You didn't have time. You'd be just skipping right past me. Decorate this. So the pieces that decorate the flaps inside and out, we need 2 pieces that are 1.5 by 5 3/4. I sped this up to 5 times natural speed. And then just made a few adjustments. The notes on the PDF on the Etsy shop will have been corrected after we finished making this. The piece that we want to cut next is we need a couple pieces for the flap up and flap down. One will need to cut into 2 pieces to account for the pocket. This piece I needed to shorten again because we added that second score line to add the gusset. So it made this piece a little bit too long as compared. But if you just followed the instructions and you didn't veer off, your piece would fit. 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. I have cut 4 of those pieces. Again, I modified this one to be shorter because I added that second score line to add the gusset, so I could change this one up a little. I really struggle to do things exactly the same. I just get excited. I'm like, oh, what if I did this though? Wouldn't that be neat? I thought it would hold the zigzag in place, the weight of the flap. I think it's a good idea. It's not a bad idea. I just changed things. So this is the way I do it because it just makes it easier for me in giving you all those separate measurements. So I just figure out what size piece is going to fit over that pocket. And again, I need to cut mine shorter because I added the additional score line. It is just simpler if you follow the instructions and don't veer off. I should have started with a full glue container. I think I started with one that was going on empty or half full when we started. And if you want a wider border, you can just trim more off of yours before you glue it down. Hold it up, dry fit it, it's called. Put the piece in place if you like how it's going to look and fit there. And then glue it down. There we go. I will do the same thing with the flap down and meet you back here. Okay, I finished gluing those down, and while I had the camera turned off, I did go ahead and cut out 4 3 3/4 by 5 1/2 inch pieces and 2 pieces that are 3 1/4 by 5 1/4 for the piece that's more narrow in the front. I will get these glued down and then I'll meet you back here. Again, I've noticed this is an area where people skip ahead, so I will just skip ahead and meet you back with all of these glued down. The next thing I like to do is to make photo mats to mat the photo pages, and then photo cards or journaling cards to go inside the pockets. So we need 4 3 1/2 by 5 1/4 to mat the photo pages. Or the pages that I thought would be great to put photos on, and then 2 3 1/2 by 5 inch to go in the pockets. I like using my fancy corner rounder on the corners of these. That's optional. You could leave them rounded or squared. I like using some of the designs. The idea was that if I use one design for the journaling cards and other designs for the matting pieces, it would help me to keep them straight since they're very similar sizes. Then when I decorated the photo cards or journaling cards that go inside the pockets, I did cut pieces that were 3 1/4 by 4 3/4 to decorate those. You can of course put these wherever you want or use them however you wanted. But I had one just inside the front cover. So these are places where I thought you could add a picture. This is a folio that I consider more of like a scrapbook style. Although you could certainly take a white pen and journal about it. You could add a photo and journal about it. Whatever you wanted. But to me, I was thinking more scrapbook mini album when I made these. I should just look at my sample instead of trying to remember. Maybe I will. I think I'll get my sample out. Oh no, that's right. These 2 go here. My glue. Well, it became unstuck at some point there, right? The little clog and all that glue came out. I'm so close. I just want to finish this without getting up and getting more glue. There we go. So I went ahead and glued those down, and to decorate the pocket, we'll want to decorate the pocket on the cover, and we also want to make a tag to put in the pocket. So first things first, I'm going to use this image that came with the digital kit by Forever Cute US. And we'll use that to decorate the pocket. I think I want to mat that up to make it fit the pocket better on a scrap of black paper. I'll go through my scraps and find something. And then let's find another image we can use for the tag that we'll put inside. Maybe we'll use this girl. Or the skeleton. Which one do you think would be better? Okay, so I took the cover image, I backed it onto a scrap of black cardstock that I had, and I'm tired of fighting with my glue stick, so we'll just use, tired of fighting with my wet glue, so we'll just use glue stick. It'll also help keep it from rippling or leaving little marks underneath where the glue was. Sometimes you can see the little faint squiggle S of glue underneath things, and I thought that this journaling card would look nice here. I go through and I add a few decorations. Why don't we go ahead and jump through to the final flip through of this project and the other one like it that I made. So here's both of the projects I made using the same instructions, making one on craft and the other one on black cardstock. One has an orange and black, the other one is pink and black themed. But essentially they're both the same. They're nice thick little packets. They are a great little scrapbook mini album. I like gifting them with a junk journal to make a junk journal gift set to try to add more value there. But it doesn't take that long to make. I think it was maybe at most an hour of total time with the instructions. I have to sit and figure things out, so it might even be a little bit faster for you. But it's a nice fun project that's great for gift giving since it doesn't take forever. And of course the materials don't break the bank either. I made this tag. It was one of the journaling tags from the kit that I had, and I just backed it onto cardstock and used my tag top punch to punch that out. I added some lace. This is the tag here that I used. You can see what I did there. We'll take a quick look inside onto how I finished it. I went and added some lace and some sari ribbon. I added that skull. I left my photo mat cards black because I felt like it looked too busy, decorated for this project. I added a black tab to my little zigzag element. There's both of those sides. Oh, I think I forgot to show you behind the flap. There we go. So those were from the pattern paper. I just fussy cut out the individual little skulls and a pumpkin from some of my scraps. It goes like that, and like that. And the magnets hold it closed. Then the pink and black one that I made, fearing that the craft one, I really kind of was so disappointed with the craft colored one because I just knew it would have looked so much better in black. That I made a whole second one to satisfy myself, and that was this pink and black one. So for this one, I copied the style of one I had previously made and had envied when I had made the craft one. So I just didn't cover the pocket and instead decorated the card. It seemed like too much to have the pocket decorated and the card. And there it is. I used some paper dolls from Pixie Dust Files. decorate that page. And again over here. And I copied adding the second score line to make the gusset there for this other project. Well, I hope you had fun with me today. You enjoyed my yammering on, maybe checked out the project. If you go ahead and make one, please tag me in it so I can see what you made. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.